Today we are going to see the last stanza of the poem The Heart of Tree by Henry Culler Bunner. In the last video, you might have seen about the first two stanza and half part of the third stanza. The last part of the third stanza we are going to discuss today. His blessings on the neighborhood, who in the hollow of his hand holds all the growth of our land, a nation's growth from sea to sea, steers in his heart who plants a tree. Growth means development. Hollow of his hand, it is the entire universe rests on the hand of God. A nation's growth, nation's development from sea to sea means all the world. Steers in his heart who plants a tree. Steers means moves. Here we can see the man who plants a tree showers his blessing on the neighborhood. The man's hand holds the future progress of mankind. Our land will become barren without trees. The poet becomes more anxious and could see that the growth of the universe is possible only by planting trees. The meaning of the word forecast, foresee, civic good, well-being of the city or its citizen. Hollow means empty space. Sea to sea from beginning till end. Steers means excite. So here we see the poem brings forward the poet's concern about the future of the earth. It seems as if the poet could see the impending destruction and thus indirectly appeals to the readers to plant trees not only for themselves but for the survival is greatly dependent on forest. Trees not only beautify environment but purify the air and provide us with wood, timber, fruits and medicines. The one who plants a tree plants the entire forest. This forest is just the harvest, the coming age can enjoy. Without trees, the world will become a deserted, barren land. The entire animal race would face hunger. Thus, it is the tree which is responsible for the growth of mankind. The poet seems to be anxious about unborn eyes, and thus for their survival, growth and development, he suggests a simple solution to plant trees. The theme of the poem, The Heart of Tree. First point, importance of trees for our survival. The poet knows the crucial importance of trees for our survival. They cool the atmosphere and causes gentle rain. Trees are the source of breezes free, that is, the trees take in carbon dioxide and emit oxygen for human beings to inhale. Also, transpiration from plants is an important process in Earth's water cycle, which is essential for rain. Trees bear flowers and fruits. The seeds that fall from the plants sprout again and give birth to many new plants. In this way, they create dense forest. These forests will prove as a boon or blessing for the upcoming generation. The plants provide us with all essential nutrients for our body. They are the main source of medicine and wood. Wood is a very important trade product and thus its import and export within countries enriches the economy of the nation. Therefore, the poet indirectly requests all human beings to plant trees for the well-being of society and its citizens. He becomes more anxious and firmly says that the growth of the nation depends on plants. Tree plantation thus indeed is a blessing on the neighborhood. Second point we see is concern for the future of the earth. The poem brings forward the poet's concern about the future of the earth. It seems as if the poet could see the impending destruction and thus indirectly appeals to the readers to plant trees not only for themselves but also for the future generations. According to the poet, our survival is greatly dependent on forests. Trees not only beautify environment but purify the air and provide us with wood, timber, fruits and medicines. The one who plants a tree plants the entire forest. This forest is thus the harvest the coming age can enjoy. Without trees, the world will become a deserted, barren land. The entire animal race would face hunger. Thus, it is the tree which is responsible for the growth of mankind. The poet seems to be anxious about unborn eyes and thus for their survival, growth and development. He suggests a simple solution to plant trees. The style of the poem, The Heart of the Tree. Form and structure first. The general pattern followed in the poem is that of the raising a question and then immediately providing an answer to that question. Literally, this technique is known as hypophora or antipophora. If you see that in each stanza, the poem begins with a question: what does he plant who plants a tree? Then you get immediately the answer: he plants a friend of sun and sky, he plants the so and so. So here this is an example of hypophora or antipophora. What does he plant who plants a tree? The answer given each time delineates the importance of trees in different spheres of human life. This repetition of the same question at the beginning of each stanza is intentionally done to create curiosity or anxiety in the readers to know more about the poem. So here we see this is the first thing in the style. Then the rhyming scheme. The poem does not have a particular rhyme scheme, but the poet has used rhyme to add life to the poem. With the use of the rhyme, the worth of trees comes out vividly, clearly, graphically. The rhyming words add to the poem's lyrical quality. These words are tree, free, you can see, sky, high, rain, again, you can underline those rhyming words, heritage, age, wood, good, etc. Let's come to the next thing, that is alliteration. It is a figure of speech. It is a close repetition of consonant sounds, usually at the beginning of words. Close repetition of consonant sounds. Let's see some example from the poem itself. He plants a friend of sun and sky. Underline the one sun and sky. That is an example of alliteration. He plants the flag of breezes free. Flag and free. This is example of alliteration. He plants the home to heaven and I. Home and heaven. Example of alliteration. In hushed and happy twilight heart. Underline the word H. Hushed H. Happy H and heart H. The next, and years that fade and flush again. Underline the word fade, F in fade and F in flush. These are some example of alliteration, that is repetition of consonant sounds. Next we see is metonym. What is that? It is a figure of speech in which a thing or concept is called not by its own name but rather by a metonym, that is, by the name of something associated in meaning with that thing or concept. As we can see, whole of the poem runs on a series of metonymic association of a tree with its qualities. Like according to the poet, the one who plants a tree plants cool shade, tender rain, you can underline it. Cool shade, tender rain, a friend of sun and sky, the forest heritage, sap and leaf and wood. These phrases here are used as a metonym as they bear direct association with a tree.